and just being a real person with people, just trying to be like, hey, this is, and when you're in your environment and when you're in your element and you're in your happy place, people can feel that. It sets your energy, you have that aura. And so people are way more receptive to advice, criticism, whatever, like whatever you want to call it. It was fun. It was fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was tough to make ends meet. I was pretty much constantly paycheck to paycheck, but I loved what I did. So I would have continued had I stayed in the US.
This show is for entertainment only. We are not professionals, and nothing said here counts as real advice. Beyond this point, what you do with the information we discuss is solely your responsibility. Please do your own research before making decisions based on anything mentioned in our chats.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the group chat. I'm Carson,
I'm Paulina.
And I'm Brandon.
and today we're going to talk about some jobs that we've had and things we learned or didn't learn. So, what was everybody's first job?
Damn. I don't know. I have to think about what was my first job. You guys can take it away. I have to think for a moment.
All right, I'll go ahead and start. My first job was, when I was 16. I worked at a spot that was, I don't know, I'm not gonna say names or anything, but it's like, not when you say names, it was called Celebration Station. So it's like Chuck E. Cheese. Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
Like the Chuck E. Cheese, like the
Oh
little,
yeah,
like when you're like a little
Never-
kid, you go ahead, have
never
like a birthday
forget Chuck
party.
E. Cheese.
Exactly. So it was like that, but it was like for older kids also. So it had like an arcade, they had like batting cages, bumper boats, mini golf, all
Like
that.
Dave and Buster's type of thing.
Yeah, Dave and Buster's, but not nice. Yeah. Yeah.
like Dave and Buster's.
Yeah.
Like a knockoff, like
It was busted, all right, but
like not Oreos, kiddos.
yeah. But yeah, so that was my first job. I was like a cashier. Like for whatever reason, they trusted me because there's like a lot of people, like most of the young people, the 16-year-olds that they hired, it's like, all right, well, you work in the summer and you're outside with the bumper boats and the batting cages and all that. And for whatever reason, they trusted me. They're like, no, we want you inside with the money. I was like, all right, I can handle that. Being inside in the air conditioning.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah, so that was cool. So I did that for I think maybe 2 years, a year and a half, 2 years, like working in
You
summer.
started at 16.
And, yeah.
Oh, in the summer.
Yeah, working in summers and weekends.
Very nice. Paulina, what you got?
I think because I was working during the summer and generally those jobs sort of overlap, like it becomes very blurry. But I think one of the first jobs that I had was working in a coffee shop. Um and I don't know which one was first because I was working at two different places almost like one after another. It was a coffee shop at Albanian coffee shop, let's put it this way.
Albania.
Exactly. And I think I was 18 at that time. So I started working a little bit later than Brandon. But yeah, it was fine. Like I met a lot of cool people and the job was the job, I got paid, like I got tips as well, and it was all right. I had a good time. Like I can't complain.
Sweet.
That's cool.
It was also during the summer mainly because during the school year, like I was at school, I was in university. And during the school year, like during university, I was working a different job. So what was I doing first? I was tutoring. I was working at a tutoring center at the university. And that was okay as well because it was sort of like a mixture of tutoring when you would have like your free time or like free blocks of, between classes. You would go in there, you would tutor some students, you would put them down for a session, but also a little bit of desk job. So like the receptionist wasn't there because they had a lunch break or whatever. Like we would also pick up like phone calls and schedule people in and whatever.
Was it English tutoring?
I was tutoring for art history. Yeah, surprise, surprise. I was tutoring English writing, so like writing composition, helping students with their essays. And I think the last few months that I was working there, I was also tutoring like French 101. So different types of things. And that was based,
That's a lot.
yeah, I mean, that was mainly based on like the grades you would get for the subject. So if you got like a really, really good grade, like passing with an A or A plus, they would put you as a tutor for that.
Yeah, very cool.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Should I
All
have
right.
Carson? Tell me.
Let's go, CJ.
I was a bagger or a bag boy at I don't even remember.
Bagging
I think
everything.
bag it up, throw it in the bag. Uh, at Kroger, which is a grocery store.
Kroger.
For those who don't know, or K Roger,
Kroger. K Roger.
I mean, whatever you want to. So that was us, just a summer job. So it must have been just what, 2.5 months. I was 15. That was my first real job. But I think even before then or around that time, I was working. I mean, I wasn't working. I was just mowing lawns, odd jobs around the neighborhood, cleaning cars, pet watching. I had a neighbor who ended up hiring me for my next real job in college, who had a lot of animals like snakes. There was one time where I watched the house and I just like, fortunately, I didn't have to do anything with the snakes, but I had to go in the room or whatever. And I was like, one of these guys is going to get loose. It's going to be the one that shouldn't bite that ends up biting. And yeah, they said none of them bite, but all of them bite. So yeah, everybody just learned that Carson has a fear of snakes. Anyways, the first job was to put groceries in bags. Very simple. Occasionally I would help old people to their cars, whatever. I'd get the carts from the parking lot. Nothing spectacular, pretty boring. But that was my first experience making like whatever the minimum wage was. It was
Minimum
like
wage, yeah.
7,
Yeah.
6. I mean, it was terrible back in whatever that was, 2005.
Goodness.
Did you get
Yeah.
tips?
Occasionally, yeah. Somebody like if I were to help an older person to their car or whatever, maybe $5 or something here and there.
A good
But
tip.
yeah, it wasn't about the money. It was just about, I guess, parents wanting me to get a job to see what it's like working and having break and being taxed by the man. And so I can't really say there were any life lessons being learned here other than, maybe nothing actually. Now that I can think about it. I can trying to
You
even
know,
remember what a day on the job was like, but the days were short. It definitely wasn't full time. It was probably, one afternoon shift or something, morning shift. But
Yeah.
yeah,
It wasn't really customer service then. Like it wasn't really you weren't really working with customers. Like you were just putting things in their bags.
yeah, no, I mean, just making sure their eggs were not going to be smashed by their milk.
Okay.
I will say that it probably, those
That's what it
skills
taught you.
probably, yeah, it gave me the skills to bag my own groceries better than most people in Spain. Because in Spain, for those of you who don't know, there ain't no bad boy.
no.
No, you bring your bags or you pay for your bags and you put your damn groceries in your own damn bags.
It's all on
Actually,
you.
Actually,
recently to the Mercadona I've been going to, they started recently. I don't know if like they're getting paid extra for this or what, but they started like coming around like you pay for your groceries and they start helping you put things in the grocery bags.
I
The
think they do
actual
that
I
when
think it
they
just
see that
depends on the person.
yeah, they see you and they're like, I don't know, like she
This
might
person
need
needs
help
help.
with this. Brandon,
all right.
thank you for jumping on that train, man. We're just ganging up on her early.
We love you, Paulina.
We
I
do.
know.
We love you. No,
I know.
that's happened to me a few times where you get lucky and they have like an extra hand or somebody's not running around doing it.
Yeah.
I think it's
It's
more
true.
like, or sometimes you see is someone who's actually just really good and like they can go and they scan. And at the same time, like they'll give you a bag. And like if you have a lot of stuff in there, also like putting stuff in a bag, also just try
Yeah.
to help it go quicker, especially if there's a lot of people in the line or.
I will say I don't like it when they mess with my groceries though, because sometimes they're like trying to rush you along. It's like, no, that doesn't go there. And if you know
It's
me,
like,
you know I'm a
I
little
know what I'm
particular
doing. I know what I'm doing.
about
Yeah.
things. And no, I paid for that, so you better not smash my shit. Eggs are like
No, it's
gold.
true.
One broken egg is like one tear shed for every broken egg. Just have
No,
no
it's
love.
true. It's true. I definitely prefer to just pack everything myself. Like I don't when they start coming around, I'm like, no, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I got this.
I got
Like,
this.
thank
I'm
you.
capable.
Like I know I might look like I'm a mess, but it's fine. Uh,
We got this.
Yeah.
and what about like other jobs that weren't summer jobs? Because you guys mentioned that most of these were summer jobs. Like after that, like what was the next step?
The next real job.
My next job was still basically because I went to the university, and so when I would come home for like Christmas, I started working in like a shoe store, and so I would do the same thing. So I'd do it during Christmas. If I came home for Easter, like for like we had spring break, it was like a week and a half, whatever. Come home and we'll work within, and then also during the summer. So same thing over again. So Christmas and summer, I did that for once again another 2 years until I finally just started like staying at where I went to university. I would stay there, and so I got a job at a different shoe store, and I would work there. Same, but that was like more full time. I work full time, go to class full time, and
Did you enjoy
My turn?
working at the shoe store?
yeah, because I
How
mean,
was it?
I worked with friends, so it was all good, and like especially the first one, because the first one I worked at was like a normal shoe store. It was like a local store, so it was like this family that created a store in Nashville, and they had a couple stores throughout Tennessee, and they had two in Knoxville. So I worked at one, and I knew a lot of people that worked there, and I don't know, young people, and it was cool. Like we would go meet up on
Nice.
like weekends and like play like basketball, like the store from like this store played against the other store. So we had like little games and competitions like that. So it was cool.
Did you
It's a
get
good
some
time.
discounts on the
But definitely.
shoes?
Like,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I spent way too much money on shoes.
Get the paycheck, buy some Jordans.
Yeah, exactly.
Paycheck
Ye-
gone.
Money in, money out.
Yeah.
I'm a bit ashamed to admit that I never had a pair of Jordans.
I don't think I had either.
Nothing wrong with that.
Oh, thank you.
Nuria got some last when we went home, went to Tennessee for Easter. She got some. Her and my niece, they got matching J's.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
So they
cool.
wear them to school. Since they're at the same school, they wear them, and they
And they
both
got the
have the same.
discount from that store, right?
Not from that
Remember I
one,
used to
yeah.
work here
Yeah,
500 years ago? No.
not from that one. No discount.
I was when I
How
was in
much
the
how
US
much
recently. Oh, go ahead.
sorry, how much do Jordans cost now? I mean, they were
Depends.
quite expensive back in the days already.
So yeah, no,
Like,
they've always been expensive. I think I don't remember. I imagine probably about 100.
Yeah, they've gone down. The price has gone down.
Yeah. But I mean, like, you get like any new ones, well, of course they'll be probably like 200.
Yeah. I was
sorry,
looking at
cartoon.
some. Yeah, no, I was just saying that I was looking at some about a month ago. And of course they didn't have my size. That made it easier. I think I was in the yeah, I was in the US. But they
Yeah, I was
were
gonna say,
around 120, 150. They're not here. No, I couldn't find
yeah, I was
Jordans
gonna say,
here
you
for
have to be
nothing.
in the US. You getting your shoes here, and
What am I thinking? No, I don't even try anymore here. Like I ask and they laugh at me. You got a 48? They're like, you could try ordering it online, but it'll probably take 5 years to get here. Okay,
I'm
no.
like, that type of size?
It's like we don't sell clown shoes here, actually.
Bigfoot? Is that you?
It's not even see the thing is it's not even that big of a foot. In the US a 14, 13, 14 is nothing.
that's nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Carson, what about
So
you? What was your full-time job? Your first sort of like full-time job?
full time. That happened full time after college. I did have two jobs at one point in college. The first job, not related to the two that I had. I had like three or four jobs while in college. So the first one, I was a busboy at like a fancy steak dining. What do you call it? Like steak restaurant? I don't know. What are these
Diner?
restaurants called?
Yes.
It was a restaurant famous for steak, like steak and yeah. Anyways, famous old bar in Atlanta. Busboy there. Did that for God. I feel like I did that for at least a year and a half. No, about a year. Anyways, I think probably everybody should work in the food industry, in the service industry rather, to get an idea of just how put this
What?
nicely,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
how
Exactly. How horrible
people
people are.
Yeah.
yeah, it teaches you to treat your servers and your bartenders with a lot more respect, not just by giving them a good tip, but by not being an asshole and understanding that they're nonstop. They're moving around nonstop. It's not, the food can only come out so fast. You can only talk to so many people at one time, and so yeah, it was a good lesson. I mean, it was a job where I was moving around, which I like. So I'm an active person, so I like just constantly doing things. So I'd run food. I would take the plates away, I'd clean the tables, I'd refill waters, drinks, whatever. And the food there was great. So I would get my first meal, or I get my meal, I guess, on the house before my shift. And they had everything. I mean, they had mussels, they had steak, had some burgers, but they were known for their steak. They were known for the meat. After that, I started working at a gym. I did front desk. I had to wear you know, shirt and tie, not a suit, but yeah. So it was like borderline fancy. It was like a country club type gym
Okay.
for the rich.
You
We
fancy.
had oh yeah, well you fancy, huh? Yeah, we had what
Those big
six?
boy bucks.
No, no. Did that for a while, and eventually I started doing maintenance. at the same gym. I was getting to tell you that like, there were 6 or 8 tennis courts, 6 racquetball courts, indoor pool, outdoor pool. We had massage. There was a rock wall. Like there was plenty to do as a member and as of course as maintenance staff. So I'd be cleaning the pools, I'd be painting things, not really fixing a lot because I wasn't that handy, but I would do the things I could do. But it was great. I love my boss. He was always good to me. We always had a good laugh. Ended up being my neighbor, and yeah, he just took good care of me. So between those 2 jobs, and then it switched over to being a bouncer. I will stop there and let Paulina chime in with her jobs because I could go on. I got a lot of jobs. I got a lot of jobs.
No, I get you. I had a lot of jobs as well, and I don't know if it was. I mean, after working at the cafe, I worked at a different cafe. Also, I think I lasted only about a month there. I was like, that's it. Like, it was a summer job anyway. So, but we would get like unlimited amount of coffee pretty much every day. So that was like the best thing. Like, I was real
Unlimited.
Oh, espresso smoothies with banana something. I'm like in love. I absolutely love that job. Now I was working also in a restaurant, another summer job, another Albanian place. So I was working at an Albanian restaurant. There were a lot of Albanians in the neighborhood that I lived in.
I see.
Yeah, yeah, no, they were quite popular there. So I was working another job, which was at a restaurant. This was also over the summer, and honestly, as horrible as like working in a food industry can be, I really enjoyed that job. The people that went to that restaurant were all like, sort of friends or friends of the family or whatever. So everyone was always super respectful. They gave us pretty good tips, super patient. It was very rare that we would get like a really rude customer. And if it was a rude customer, it would be usually like by phone and they'd be like, I ordered my food and blah blah blah. Is it ready? It's like, ma'am, yes, it's ready for pickup. We already called you. Like, I don't know why are you calling when you can clearly see that you have like 3 missed calls. Like, so, but no, generally the restaurant was really good. Had a great time working there. Also, we had like meals on the house. So like I would have my lunch break. We could order anything on the menu. The manager would make it because manager was also working in the kitchen. He was sort of like a chef and manager. So it was like
That's
really
cool.
family, like, close-knit type of little cute traditional restaurant.
Yeah, you get really close with the restaurant people when you're working there for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Kitchen, bartenders, everybody.
Exactly. So that was still part-time. That was like well, it was full-time during the summer. So that was like a first full-time job during summer, but then actual stable job, like I said, it was the tutoring, but it was also like part-time. We sort of like went when we didn't have classes. Another later on, I think I worked at the tutoring center for about a year and few months. And I left to I don't know what to even call it. It was like a college fund. And technically it was like they would have all the donations that go from the alumni that like graduated, I don't know, 40 years ago would go through the college fund. And there were different offices. Like there was an office that would actually do the typical fundraising and do the, paychecks and whatever. And then there was the office that would actually get in contact with the alumni and check if, what is it called? Like all the addresses are updated, if their phone numbers are updated, sending out invitations for events, and that's sort of what we were doing. So putting things in envelopes, we would check things online, send out emails. It was like job, like it was a desk job. It was fun because we attended different types of events with lots of rich people. So that was really nice. We had our meals paid for, our drinks paid for,
Yeah.
we got pretty decent paychecks. I can't complain about that. Like, and like go to work and you would just joke around with your friends, half the time. Like you're putting in envelopes for, to be sent out and you're making stupid jokes while drinking coffee and having a little snack. And one time there was actually they're filming a show, I think it was, on our campus, and one of our like staff members went to talk to the like producers and to the cast and whatever, and we got free bagels. Like we got bagels and coffee from
Yo,
like the actual like
bagels?
cast of, I don't know what show it was, and we're just like, yo, this is the best
Did you
job.
also get cream cheese with those bagels?
Yes.
Were they everything bagels? Were they blueberry?
I don't remember. I think they have like mixture. They had like mixed different types of bagels.
Assorted?
Yeah. So
Yeah, bagels and cream cheese and
Pretty good
coffee.
job,
That's a
you
pretty
know?
good day. It's not like banana bread, but it's pretty
Ooh,
good day.
banana bread. That's
But as a New Yorker, I mean, it's bagels. Bagels over
yeah.
everything.
Ah, what are you gonna do?
But yeah, no, definitely.
That's a
That
day to
was
remember, though, for sure. Food.
yeah. It's like a job that, like I said, it was still part-time because I was studying, but I was working there throughout the whole like school year. It wasn't that was just weekend job or anything like that. Yeah. And then when I moved to Poland, that's a whole different story of terrible, terrible jobs. Not all of them, but
Terrible. Fucking.
some of them. Oh my God. I had one job that was, I'm glad I left that job. Let's put it this way.
Well, I think we've all had some of those.
Yeah. Yeah. Or not one, many.
Well, why don't we go that route? Let's go into what was your worst job that you've had.
First. Wow, that's hard. Not that all of them have been bad. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I try to. I'm a pretty optimistic, positive person, so I don't really. I wouldn't say I regret having any of my jobs because I can take something from each one, even though okay, I didn't like it as much. Maybe I'm really glad to not be doing it. But worst is hard. I have to think for a second.
Brandon, do you have an idea?
So, yeah, I have. Yeah, like I agree with Carson. Like your worst is kind of difficult, but there was a job that I had. I was like, yeah, this isn't for me.
What
So
was it?
it was here in Spain. This was I guess it was beginning of 2017. So I was taking a break from teaching. So I was like, all right, let's see what's out there. And there was a job for it was just like to cover maternity leave. So it was like 4 months, and it was with a company that did a logistics company. So they did like so basically you just had to like look for shipments or look for loads for the shipping company to go and pick them up and take them wherever.
Mhm.
But the problem was like the just exactly those 4 months when I was working there were like the down months.
Oh, there's nothing to do.
So there's absolutely nothing to do. So I basically just had to sit there and like refresh like 3 different web pages, like seeing if like a new load would pop up. And then, but basically everyone in all of Europe were doing the same thing. So if one load popped up, like you had to hurry up and call, but you're competing with literally like people from like 28 different countries, like everyone doing the same thing. And it was just sitting there boring for 4 months. I couldn't wait for that job to be over with. It's like, when is this lady coming back? Like her baby's fine. Like, like speed this up. Like I need it.
Like
I need it.
she
I need
could
to get out
do,
of here.
she could do this and have her baby. Like there's not a lot of work here. But
But
yeah, that's rough.
it was extremely boring, and it was a long 4 months. Like you said, Carson, like every job you can take something from it, but from that one, I was just like,
He's hard pressed
not
to take
much.
anything
The
from
people I
that.
worked with were cool, but the job
Yeah,
it was rough.
I hear you. I
Yeah.
hear you.
So you were talking about that there wasn't enough like workload, that it was just too boring.
It was literally just sitting there,
You're
hitting
just looking at the
refresh.
clock every 5 minutes. Like I got 2 more hours of this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Carson?
that's not
Thankfully
good.
during that time, I was also doing my MBA. So like on Fridays, like I left early because I had to go to class. So those Fridays were good days.
Yes, yes. Well, Paulina, you got it, or
Carson, you
do
got
you need more
something?
time? I got
Right.
something.
You need more time. Okay.
Oh, I got. I mean, you go. You go. It's your turn. You talk.
Sweet. I,
Talk.
I just talked a lot, so I wanted to give the listeners a little bit something, different to hear your voice for.
Well, it's very considerate of you.
But fine, if you insist, I'll talk. Um,
I insist.
Honestly, like you guys said, I don't think that you could take away something from every job that we all had, but there was a job that really just like stand out in my mind, and I worked in a travel agency, and it was in Poland. It was my first job in Poland. I started off in one city that was close to where my sister lives, and one, I hated the commute because at that moment I didn't have a car, so I had to wake up much earlier. My sister lives in bumblefuck middle of nowhere. Um so I had to take a bus, like I literally lived in like the freaking countryside. I had to take a bus to go into the city. There was only one bus in the morning that got me to work. So that was already like a shit show. But I mean, I needed to have some money, like I can't just be mooching off my sister. So I was going to work. The job was in a travel agency. And it was pretty much just like the first month, it was very basic things. It was a lot of training. It was sort of just, I don't know, getting older people like a bus ticket, from one city in Poland to another. I don't know, like very basic things in the beginning. And it was so boring because there was so much information that I had to learn. But at the same time, it was just like, oh my God, same idea. Like, I have to be here like 6 more hours and just check the clock, like just check the watch. Like, you would get like annoyed because the time would not move. Like, it would just like the
Yeah.
hour just stay exactly the same. And then they actually moved me to a different city since I was the only one that didn't really have like a partner or like, any ties to where I was working. They moved me to a bigger city. Moved me as meaning like I have to find my own apartment. It's not like they took care of that. I had to find my own apartment, but I was like, sure, yeah, it's a bigger city, more opportunities. If anything, I can find a different job. And they needed somebody in the office because same idea, the woman that was working there, she was going on maternity leave. So there was like the manager there, and there was another woman, and then there was me. So she was going on maternity leave, and she was doing like all the paperwork and everything to prepare me pretty much to take her place for the time being. And it was organizing trips. At that point, like they were using my English skills, like the little Spanish skills that I had at that point, the French, like because I spoke French pretty fluently, to send emails, to call different companies, because they would sell trips. Like if you guys think of like Corte Inglés Viajes, they would sell like those
Yeah.
like big trips, and you have to organize like you call the restaurant, make sure that they have space for, I don't know, 40 people in that restaurant for a dinner. What are
Mm.
the prices? What it comes out for, per plate and whatever per person. So all of that, like I was taking care of that. And then we would have like groups actually go on these trips. And there were groups from like, companies. I don't know, when you guys think of like a big company and then they would send their workers on some sort of like business trip. And I think for me, that was the worst part of it. That not only had my regular phone, which, my coworkers would contact me on, I would have a work phone. And
Yes.
if I organized the trip, I was the one that they would call about every little thing. I don't know, 12 o'clock at night, I'm at a freaking bar on a Saturday and I get a phone call like,
No.
hey, so listen, we're in Czech Republic and our bus broke down. Like, can you guys send me another bus? And I'm like, girl,
Mhm.
like, I'm over here shit faced in a bar on the
You're
Saturday
in
night.
Czech Republic. I'm in Czech Republic. I'm at a bar. I'm at the same bar as you.
So, like, I think that was sort of like
Yeah, that's rough.
really what, pushed me over the limit. Like, that it wasn't just
Buzzkill, man.
working during the actual hours, but then you actually have to take care of the people that are in a different country. Like, I get it because it's the company that is responsible for that, but like I was not signing up for that. Like I thought my job, like in the first few months, especially since I'm just starting, would be, I don't know, selling tickets, I don't know, selling the trips. And that's about that. But no, it was working weekends, working on a Sunday, like not actually in the office, but still picking up phone and whatever. But I did travel to Spain for the first time because of that job.
Hmm.
So I went to Cantabria. So that
Ooh.
was the positive, that I actually went to Cantabria. I think it was for like a week trip, and I wasn't alone. Like I was, yeah, technically like the face of the company there, but we also had a translator. So she was also like able to help me out with things, and it was okay. And to be honest, like that trip, I have really fond memories of that trip. But then after that, like things started going like downhill. I started also having like health problems here and there. And I started applying for university, and that's where I was like, I need to drop this job. Like, I need to take care of myself. I need to take care of my university, like to apply for university and things like that. I want to do other things than just be stuck at this job. And yeah, and I
For
quit.
sure.
I think I only worked there for about 5 months. So,
Well,
yeah.
well,
Yeah.
Like I
That's a
said, it
sounds
lot.
wasn't a
rough.
horrible job,
No, no, but
but there were
it
just
adds up.
things that, yeah, as you said, it adds up.
The calling me while I'm at the same bar as you in the same country, and I'm just trying to have a good time, not organize your second bus because you missed it because you were spending too much time at the bar. Yeah, that shit's annoying. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, I would especially hate it because my phone's on silent, like
Yeah.
always. If I'm not expecting your call, I'm probably gonna miss it.
Yeah. And I was quite young when I was working that job. I mean, I just moved from the States at that time, so I was 22. That's a lot of responsibility for a 22-year-old. Like, Now
It's
maybe
asking
I
a
would
lot.
I
Yeah.
would be able to do that, but, like, 22-year-old me, like, I have it together to a certain extent, you know? Not to the extent of, like,
But not that
figuring it
much.
out on Saturday night, like, what to do with a bus situation in Czech Republic, and no, definitely
Right.
not.
Yeah. At my logistics company job, and we had a work phone also, and that was 24 hours because like the deliveries and everything, the pickups, that there's no timetable for that. And so like people call you and like, oh yeah, we're at this place to pick up this load, and like the paperwork's not correct, or no one's here, or it's closed. And it was like, dude, I'm out at dinner. I can't do anything
Yeah.
about that. Like, you're there, you figure it out. Because like the drivers would call us because we were in charge of it. I can't do this. It's like it's almost
Yeah. No,
better
thank you.
when like you're refreshing and that there's no loads. That's better because if you get a load, well then you have to deal with it. But all the
Right.
problems that come with it.
Right. I didn't know you did that because I did something like that as well. My mother-in-law has a freight
Yeah.
forwarding company, so I can kind of relate.
Oof.
Although my brother-in-law was more in charge of like the case by
Yeah.
case, the little details of things falling through, and he has to jump on it. I was just more like uh maintaining the office documentation, getting things together, giving it to my brother-in-law, and trying to understand as much Spanish as I possibly could. But it's a good experience. Well, I guess mine would be working at CBS. Not because it was at all bad, but for me, it was maybe the most dull job that I had. It was just a bit boring. There was very little stimulation. It was just kind of, what does this cost? Scan it. Okay, you got to apply this discount. Okay, you're paying in pennies. Great.
Thank you so much. I love you.
Like,
We always
then,
need change, not that much change.
But here, Carson, why don't you explain what is CVS for
yeah,
imagine
yeah,
there's
yeah. Good
someone who
point.
doesn't
Good point. Fair
explain what is
point.
CVS.
CB point. CB point is not a thing. CVS is, if you're in the US, like Walgreens, it's a pharmacy convenience store. So
Thing.
yeah, that's everything. You want unhealthy soda and candy, you got it. If you want medicine to cure you of the diseases that you put yourself through, then you can get that as well.
You need a birthday card.
You need a birthday card, you got that. You need condoms, okay. You want to do a little bit of money laundering, buy a bunch of like Visa gift cards and pay in cash. Do that. Come back in a week, put a wig on. All right, like it's cool. You want to launder money that way? Fine. The
A
one
memory
cool thing
card.
that happened, what'd you say?
A memory card, like a digital camera. I remember those.
Oh, yeah,
Everything.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just like random, just everything.
Yeah, they sold everything. I mean, they sold everything. The one cool thing that happened, I didn't even realize happened. But one day I was just doing my thing behind the register, checking somebody out. Unbeknownst to me, it was T.I. I mean,
King
this
of the
isn't
South.
Atlanta. This isn't Atlanta.
This is like the live your life video. No, what is it? What is that? No, you can have whatever you like. It's like that video.
You can have whatever you like. All right. I
Yeah,
didn't know it was him. I didn't recognize him. No, sorry, I didn't check him out. All of a sudden,
he checked
my
you out.
boss, checking you out, though. Checking me out, checking you out. Anyways, my boss all of a sudden like shoves me aside. I'm like, yo, okay, I got this. Like, I'm fine, but okay. And then he checks the guy out. I didn't know who the guy was. I didn't recognize him. Much shorter in person than I thought. Maybe that, I don't know. I just didn't recognize his face. Anyways, he leaves. And my boss is like, did you know who that was? I was like, no, T.I. I was like, well, that's why you pushed me aside. He's like, yeah, man. All right, that's cool, man. Yeah, just like totally went over my head.
Question is, what was he buying?
Yeah, that is a good question.
Extra large condoms.
All I will say is I know he was on the phone and he was not happy. He was on the phone. That is what I remember. He was on the phone and he was talking to somebody and I was like, yeah, somebody's going to get that ass beat. I don't know what's going on there.
Oh, we don't want a unhappy Ti.
Yeah, no quoting anybody because I don't even remember what he said. It's just like, and I could be mistaking him for somebody else. You never know. This was years and years ago. But another crazy thing that happened, fortunately, while I was not there, and fortunately, nobody got hurt. But I think it was the same day that I was working. I was in the morning or early afternoon shift. The girl who came on to work the evening shift sent me a message like a couple hours later. She's like, you wouldn't believe what just happened. We just got robbed at gunpoint. At gunpoint. And apparently it ended up being the same person that like robbed a pizza joint across the street like a week prior. and like shots were fired at the pizza joint. He didn't want to pay his tab or some shit. And so they got him at CVS, or they got him like on camera again. And I think they eventually caught him. It was like, yo, that's crazy. You gave him the money, right? She's like, yeah, of course. I'm not an idiot. So I
If she
dodged,
didn't give her the money, she wouldn't have been calling you. Like,
right? Probably not. So I dodged a bullet on that one.
quite literally.
Literally. I was gonna say.
But I can't say anything bad. My manager was super cool. My coworkers were cool. It was pretty low stress. There were some interesting characters coming in there, but that's, you work at any place long enough, that's going to happen. So yeah, it was just like a temporary thing. I think it must have been 6 months, 8 months toward the end of college. And after that, then I started doing a little personal training, getting into the bread and butter. So yeah.
That's the thing about the US. You never know what's gonna happen. Like people come in like steal shoes. It's like I'm not chasing anyone out for shoes. Like I don't get paid enough for that. Like if they take some shoes, well,
Pull
alright,
Molotov.
that's it. It's like I ain't ready. I'm not chasing anyone down trying to
You got your Segway.
get like some $50 shoes back.
Today.
Yeah. For me,
I'll chase them just for the fun of it. Like I just want the cardio. No, go ahead, Paulina. What you say?
But no, I didn't have those type of experiences. I mean, probably like a few cards declined here and there while buying a coffee and a croissant type of thing, and it's like,
You're broke.
I can't give you a coffee and a croissant. Like, no, I'll just get the coffee then. It's like, okay, you sure you're not hungry either?
Sorry, you can't afford the sugar either.
That'd be dirty. Like you take their coffee, just drink it in front of them.
That was petty. I wasn't that petty.
But you told us earlier that you did that. You said that you mentioned that you pulled that once. You were feeling a little bit spicy that day. No, I'm full of them. Yeah. Just had a moment where I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna drink this right in front.
But I mean, we all learned something from those jobs. Like, I mean, I know that I definitely wouldn't go back into like working in travel agency again. Like too much stress, like too much responsibility. Like, not that my current job doesn't have that, like obviously when you guys are also teachers, like there is a lot of stress and responsibility with that, but it's a different level of stress. Like you're organizing a whole trip somewhere else, in a different country, making sure that everything is done correctly, that everything is running smoothly, that the company will want to, hire us once again to do, another trip. I wouldn't put myself through that again.
Yeah, the lesson I learned, I guess, is if somebody asked for money at gunpoint, you just give them the one.
That's a good
Didn't really need that job to figure that one out, but
it made it much
and
clearer.
also, if I want to launder money, start with some Visa gift cards. I guess. I mean, I kind of stand out in a crowd, so I don't really know how I could pull that one off. You seen this redhead who wears clown shoes? He's been coming into every convenience store asking for gift cards. No, what
No.
clown? I mean, what redhead? Okay, so now we should. And what about
Yeah, no, tell us.
you? You're what about what?
No, what about the jobs that, like, I mean, what about the jobs that we currently have? Or
You
jobs
being
that we
a-
really enjoy? Because maybe the jobs that we currently have aren't the ones that we really enjoy, but Carson laughed in pain.
He's crying.
No jobs we enjoy.
That's the most sarcastic and long and no. No.
Told you it'd be authentic.
There's no other way.
There's no other way. No, Brandon, you're up. We're taking turns.
All right. The job that I got the most from was actually, it's part of my degree in the university. So I had to do like a kind of like a work, not a work study, but part of my degree to graduate, I had to like volunteer. And so my last year, I volunteered in like an adult like learning center, like teaching immigrants English, like the like basics, like counting 1 through 10, like the colors, like the money, for like a quarter, nickel, $5, $2, or $2, no, $1, all that. And for me, that was probably the best working experience I've had in my life. The
Where
people
was
were
that?
absolute. What's that?
Where was that? That was in
It
Knoxville.
was in Cookville, and where I went to university. It was like so like a rural area. So like lots of immigrants came because there was like factories and things. So the immigrants would come and they would work in the factories. And these people, like they would work probably like 12-hour shifts from like 4 in the morning. They finish that, get back to their house, or not, maybe not even go to their house, like get some food and then come to class. And then I come to class, and then they were there for like an hour, hour and a half, and then we'll go home, eat, go to bed, do it all over again. And these are like the nicest people that I ever met in my life. They literally didn't have anything, but anything that they had, it was yours. They would give it to you. And it was
That's
it was
amazing.
amazing. Met some really good people while I was there, and I don't know.
Oh, cool.
I kind of rub it into my students' face. I was like, yeah, so I actually taught people that like been taught and appreciate it.
No doubt. That makes a
Because the
huge
students, like,
difference.
they just don't care. They come to class like, I hate school, I hate everything. And I was like, well, at one point I taught people that really wanted to be there after working 12-hour shifts and
Yeah.
had
Yeah,
to take care of their family and not have anything. But yeah, that's for me. That's something I'll never forget. And like I said, amazing people from all over
definitely.
South America, Central America. Really good.
So
Yeah.
cool. You see their character at the end of the day, a long day, and they're still smiling and still eager to learn a language. And that's incredible. People are so cool.
Exactly. I actually kept doing that job because I only had to do it for, I think it was maybe a couple months, like 2 or 3 months. But because I stayed in the town before I came to Spain for like another year, and I stayed on it. I kept doing it, and it was cool. Like I said, best work experience for me.
Nice.
Yeah. They're
Your
rewarding.
turn.
Yeah. Carson, you want to go?
I'll
Yeah.
take it this time. Yeah, sure. I could go. I could go. Personal training, by far the best mini career, I should say. I did study exercise science, so it was my career. I did that for 5 years before, 5 years in total before coming to Spain. And I really loved working one on one with my clients, seeing their progress, just seeing them change their lives in the sense of building a healthy habit and sticking with it. For those who stayed with me, some of them for a year, 2 years. I did change gyms a few times, quite a few times. No, no. One in Atlanta, one gym. Actually, I didn't train in the gym in Atlanta, but I did. I did. I worked at another gym in Atlanta too. Trained there. Hard to remember. Hard to keep track of all that. But yeah, just the people you meet, the stories you hear, how they're working full time, still squeezing in their workouts. Had one of my last clients before moving to Spain. She trained with me. Well, I think she probably wanted to do like 5 or 5:30 in the morning. I think we compromise on 6. I think it was around 6, which was hard for me. I'm not a morning person and I cannot go to bed early those days, but like just seeing how hard I could push her, I pushed her, like I trained her probably harder than 90% of my other clients at 6 in the morning. And then she would go and work her full-time job after that. I'm like, yo, I wouldn't be able to do that.
Yes.
I would be so exhausted. I would just be recovering all day for 2 days. So she was a badass. She was badass. She was a mother, hard worker. And just so, yeah, you get you get to really know the person after some time, obviously. Everybody opens up a little bit on their own schedule, at their own pace, I guess I should say. But you don't get to know everything about this person, but enough to see how they are, and they share a lot with you. The more comfortable you are with somebody, the more you can push them, the more you can relate to them. They're comfortable telling you about their injuries or their concerns, and so I love just really having that connection. Of course, it was awesome. The work environment was awesome because I would work at a gym. I mean, how can you complain? You're working at a gym. It's pretty low stress. Everybody's pretty happy there. Either if they come in a little unhappy, they're gonna leave happy. And so, yeah, I couldn't complain at all. I was on my feet. I was moving around. Sometimes, I mean, not sometimes, most times I'd be demonstrating exercises. So I'm getting a few more reps in. I mean, comfortable clothes, comfortable shoes. Like you can't really think of a negative aspect of the job. It could have been, it's like you're running your own business within the business because you do have to get your own clients. Some gyms help you more, but it does come down to you or just between sessions, or you have an hour to spare before you have to go home and do whatever, and you're just walking around and you're saying, hey, my name's Carson, let me know if there's anything I can do to help you. Next time you see them, hey, my name's Carson, I noticed you're doing this, can I give you just some quick advice? And people actually receive that quite well if you do it in the right way. If you read the room. It's not
Mm.
always, yeah, not everybody could be approached, and especially not told what they should do. It's kind of, you have to be careful of the egos. But yeah, I mean, that's how I got quite a few clients and referrals. And I even trained other trainers on doing that and just being a real person with people, just trying to be like, hey, this is, and when you're in your environment and when you're in your element and you're in your happy place, people can feel that. It sets your energy, you have that aura. And so people are way more receptive to advice, criticism, whatever, like whatever you want to call it. It was fun. It was fun. Yeah. It was tough to make ends meet. I was pretty much constantly paycheck to paycheck, but I loved what I did. So I would have continued had I stayed in the US. Definitely would have continued because it's quite rewarding seeing somebody, drop their body fat and be more active and get outside more or whatever, get back to doing the things they love doing or have less pain. I could go on and on. I love it. That's great.
Yeah.
I can attest to all that because the few times we went to the gym together, like now when I go to the gym, I still remember all the things that you were telling me to do,
Yeah.
like how to
I love it.
breathe and the deadlift, like when you did deadlift, everything, all that. And I started thinking
Cool.
about it. I started laughing because I remember being in the gym. I was like, all right, now they're going to think I'm crazy because I'm sitting here doing deadlift, like laughing.
I wish I could laugh during deadlifts. I'm just like, oh my God, this should be so much more weight.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm not pushing that much weight. I can laugh.
That's great, man.
Aw,
I'm happy to be a good influence.
look at you guys bonding.
You know,
Uh,
The students still call me Carson.
but yeah, and they would call me Brandon too when I worked there. They're like, yeah,
But
I'm
no,
black.
still like
What?
now. Still now,
you
like they
guys
call me
look
I
so
Carson.
still.
alike.
Oh, every name, every English name except for mine.
That's great.
Crazy. It's crazy.
I remember getting called Brandon quite a few times. I'm like, who am I? And they're like, Brandon. I'm like, I'm Brandon. Okay, everybody, my name's Brandon. I make a scene about it.
You guys
It's
are
great.
crazy.
Kids these days,
We look identical, basically. That's what it
so much alike, identical twins.
is. Oh man.
Yeah. No, but I get what both of you guys are saying. Like, I think it's not necessarily always about the money, right? Like Carson said, like sometimes it's, paycheck to paycheck, but it's this idea of how you feel when you work with certain people. And I've had jobs where they didn't pay very well. I was working in academies as well in Poland, and it was regular English teaching jobs, but you see certain people that would come in, as Brendan said, they would come in and after working long hours, they would have the English class and they were so motivated just to be there, to actually learn a little bit more English to go on a trip, that they plan to UK, for example, or wherever, to Germany or whichever other place to be able to communicate more freely. And they would come back from the trip and they're like, Paulina, I went to this restaurant and I actually ordered my food, by myself. And it's like, amazing, it's like you feel really happy because you see like the barrier that they would have and you see them like breaking down those barriers and it's something that's super rewarding. And
Totally.
I right now I feel like the job that I have, working for myself to a certain extent, sometimes I worry because I know that being a freelance, in Spain is not easy with all the fees and all the bull crap you have to go through. But honestly, I really enjoy it. I really enjoy the students, like the classes that I have with my students. I mainly teach now adults. I had my, time with younger students, at our previous job. And I sort of went into teaching adults once again. Adults, and I have some teenagers, but usually they're like 17, 18, so it's like late teens.
Mhm.
And it's great because they want to be there. As
Yeah,
as Brent, they actually want to be there.
it's the
They want,
difference maker.
yeah. Mm. And just the look on their face when you actually tell them something that they have never heard before, use an expression or a certain phrasal verb, and when you see the gears turning
Mm.
and it clicks, and you're like, yes, that little
You
light
got it.
bulb moment, um, and I wouldn't change that for anything right now. Like, I'm in that moment, in that zone of where I feel really comfortable, where I am with my students. And as we talked about it in previous episodes as well, Brandon mentioned about that one of his students later on became like his one of closest friends. I could definitely see myself being friends with some of my students if it was like a different scenario, if we stopped having classes and so on. I could definitely see myself being friends with some of my students. They're just good people, and for me it's also like I can sort of choose who I want to work with. If I have like a first class with them and I see that the vibe is not there, I know generally the first class, like some people get very shy and nervous
Yeah,
and whatever.
it's
I will
odd.
give it like a month trial. But if I see that after a month we're not vibing, they're not learning, they're not putting in the effort, what else can I do? Right? Maybe I can recommend somebody else that would be a better fit for them. But I haven't
Has that
had,
happened?
sorry?
Has that happened where you like, I don't know if it's gonna work?
I don't think so. I had one student that was like doubting at first,
Mm.
that when we first started, I was like, oof, I don't know how this is gonna go. Like, she's a
They were
very
just
nice lady, but it's just, I just didn't feel the energy right away. Like, I couldn't read her very well. But then, like, two classes later, she started to open up a little bit more. She started to, show, like, herself a little bit more, be a little bit warmer. And now it's fine. Like, now we have very good vibes, very good classes. But yeah, the only time that actually has happened was actually when I was working in an academy where I had a student that came in and my boss told me he's a bit of a strange guy. Like, I'm telling you right off the bat, he's a bit strange. You guys can have your first class and see how it goes. He was a guy who was in his, I don't know, mid 20s or maybe early 30s. I was also like in my, I don't know, I was 23 or 24 at that time. And he was talking to me about manga and Japan and anime. And that's pretty much all he wanted to talk about. And I'm like, but can we actually get to the different topics that we need to discuss? I think he was preparing for like a job interview and he wanted to talk about his hobbies. And I was like, I don't know how this is going to work. So I had that one
Yeah.
class with him
just
and
one.
yeah, I had that
Yeah.
with him. And I told my boss, like, I don't know how this is going to work because I don't think he's actually putting in the effort to actually change the topic. Like I tried to change the topic. I'm like, okay, but we're here for the job interview preparation. Let's look at some vocabulary. And
But
then he tried to connect it again to like manga and I don't know.
it's that one anime episode I saw.
I'm like, I don't know how
Okay,
to
buddy.
work with him. Like I have no clue how like what other approach I could possibly try.
You just need to do a little role playing. You just need to dress up, do a cosplay, right? Come in the classroom and do like, little anime interview.
Don't do
No big
that.
deal.
Should
No
come
big
up
fucking
missing.
deal. Yeah, come on, miss it for sure. He's
I
gonna
wouldn't be
kidnap you and
here.
make you do that in his basement for 30 years.
But other than
Sorry,
that, like
guy.
it
Sorry,
hasn't
buddy
happened.
guy.
It's all
No,
love.
he's listening. He's too busy watching anime.
No.
But yeah, no, the thing is, after that, I haven't had any like strange things. Yeah, definitely teaching is something that I enjoy. Mainly teaching teens and adults because they want to be there.
I
I
second
think
that.
that really makes the difference.
I second that for
Always.
sure. I mean, I feel for my teens who are like more or less forced to go to the academy because your parents say it's a good idea that you learn English, and it is a really good idea, son. But yeah, when I have my 20, the 20-year-olds and the adults who are driven, highly motivated, they need it for work, they need it for travel, they're moving to an English speaking country. It's just get in there and get down to business. So I'm writing things on the board. I'm putting up resources. I'm using a book. I'm over explaining things not over explaining to me, but I mean to them, but to me, yeah. It's like you should know this, but okay, we're gonna drill this until you get it. But they're way more receptive, and you spend less time talking about anime and manga. Like, let's get down to brass tacks.
And
It's
I have
rewarding. It's rewarding. Teaching is rewarding, and when you, like you said, when you have those moments where you see it click, you're like, so happy that I could help you get there.
yeah, for
Finally.
sure. Especially if it's like a difficult topic that you see that they've been struggling with. Like a lot of students always struggle with conditionals, right? And the moment
Mm,
that they have a exam for conditionals, it's like all right, let's do this once again, and the zero and second and first conditional, generally it's fine, but then you get into that mixed
The
conditional
third.
third.
Second, third.
Oh my god. Oh
And then
my
the
god.
mixed conditional throws them for a loop too. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's weird because when especially for the three of us, like that's something that we normally don't have to think about. We speak and we say it how we say it, and we're just like, it sounds good. Like it sounds good to me. But then when you actually have to explain it, that's like the art of it. Like
How can I make this simple?
If I were you, I would stop talking about manga.
yeah,
If I had known you were going to only talk about manga, I would not have come today.
exactly.
There you go.
What
Yeah.
conditional is that, motherfucker?
But you guys want to
Conditional
know,
this, bitch.
when I
All
actually
right,
realized that, I
I'm
realized
done.
that when I had to study for a final exam in Poland, because I was studying English philology, and all of the students, like everyone in my class in the master's degree was just like sitting there reviewing, and this is the past perfect participle of blah blah blah. This is the future perfect continuous. This is the, and I'm like, what? Can you like say it? It's
What is that?
like
Give me an
normal
example.
English, And obviously at that point I already was like, I had taught English for a few years, but for me, I didn't really think about that like outside of work. I'm like, okay, I go to work, I prepare my presentation about future perfect continuous. This is what it is, this is how you use it. You leave your job, you're like, okay, that's it, adios, like not in my head anymore. And then when I actually had to study for the exam, I was like, they were talking to me. They were telling me all these things. Helena, can you tell me how you should form the mixed conditional of blah blah blah? And I'm like, first you need to explain to me what a mixed conditional is because I have no idea. And this
Just
is
a
how they
mixed
would study,
cocktail,
like
it's a
because this
mixed
is
drink.
how yeah, this is how they were taught. So for them it was very natural to study that way. And I realized that now when I actually have classes with my students, I try to not avoid because grammar is really important as well. Obviously, it all depends on the type of student that I'm teaching, but do a little bit of a mixture. Yes, do grammar, but also put that actual grammar into use. So it's not like that they will remember, this is a past perfect, whatever. No, I want them to remember of how it's used
Situation.
rather than, yeah.
Function over
Um,
everything.
exactly.
It's like, why do you say it like this? Well,
Because,
then we can break it down. But it's a
yeah,
lot of cases. I find myself just saying, we just say it like this. We just do it like this.
It just
It's
is.
like, that's the way it is. And sometimes you can like say, okay, no, but we need the preposition here. Like in Spanish, you would use preposition, right? Well, in English, we use preposition. Maybe it's a different one, but we still need those different parts of speech to give us our complete idea or complete thought or
yeah,
whatever. We need to express ourselves completely. So then you explain what the prepositions mean, and you gotta, where's the pen? Where is it now? It's in my
yeah,
pocket. Things like that. And yeah, it's like, it's kind of annoying, it's boring, but they need that. Depending on the level.
exactly.
Basics.
Yeah. But no, it's definitely rewarding. It's definitely
For sure.
something that, when I have classes with my students, I definitely like look forward to them. Like there are some students that, in some classes that I have prepared that I'm like, today we're doing grammar and we have to do grammar because whatever. But then there are other classes where we have just conversation classes. I'm like, yes, this is amazing.
Yeah. Oh, those are
How
so great.
Mhm.
Those are so great. I've got a
and
few of
you
those right now.
yeah,
Well, one
and
or
you
no, just
learn
one.
how these people work. You learn like their opinions, and you learn some of them like, wow, this person is very much like me, or like, wow, this person has completely different opinions and ideas on something else.
Totally.
So, what else we got on the agenda?
I think that's a good place to leave it, personally.
We had something about desires as well, like a necessity, how it affects our decision making.
Well, in terms of choosing a job, obviously you have to consider the market. What's available in your area? Are you able to work remotely? What is there that you can do? We're all expats. So when I first came to Spain, I came to Spain with the English language assistant program. So I had something. I was fortunate enough to have a little bit of help when I first got here. Of course, I coupled that with tutoring online and in person. The first year I was running around everywhere, all over the region of Murcia, like driving, on the phone, working at a couple different schools in Murcia, working at 3 schools in the rural Murcia.
Cool.
So like you make ends meet, you do what you have to do. And then, so that's necessity. That's necessity. That's food on the table. I had no other options. I did not speak Spanish. I had no certifications. I didn't have my full residency. I was still on a visa. So that, necessity drives it first in terms of what job you're going to have. And then if you get lucky and you get some options, then it's about, choosing sometimes the lesser of 2 or 3 evils, or choosing something
Yeah.
you want to do. And now I'm getting closer to being able to choose what I want to do. I've been working on transitioning from education to IT, and that's exciting. It's taken years, but that's where I am. What about y'all?
Brendan, go ahead.
It's the same. Well, same as Carson. I started out as the auxiliar. And I think you kind of realize how difficult it is. Like you said, like a lot of times, like you're in multiple schools, and most time maybe you don't even speak the language and all the paperwork that you have to do, because it's also usually the first time you're actually in another country and you're actually working. So it's not like, oh, I'm coming here for vacation. Like, no, you got to get your paperwork, get your visa, get everything in order. So it's a
Shit gets
lot
real
that you have to
fast.
do.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then also, as Carson said, like little by little, you get situated and you start learning how everything works, and you realize, okay, I'm going to be here for a while. And then you start trying to figure out, well, what can I do? What else can I do? What can I add to this? Or what other options are there? And in reality, I think it's a little bit difficult now. As you said, the job market is rough.
It's not easy. It's not
Job
easy.
market is rough I think it's not just for us as expats, but for everyone in general.
Oh, for sure.
And it doesn't seem like it's going to be getting better anytime soon. I am
There's a lot
thankful.
of competition. For
Exactly.
one.
A lot of competition out there. But I am thankful for the job that I have. And obviously, you have your good days, your bad days, but it is very rewarding. Like you said, Paulina, like when you see everything clicking and you see like your students progressing, and it's like it takes away from all the bad days. Like just having that one moment of something good and something positive. But
Sure.
And I'm
And it
sure the
doesn't happen
students
every
love
day, but
know that
exactly.
Sorry?
No, it's not. It doesn't happen every day. It's every now and then.
And the students love you. Like that's another thing. That's also like a plus, right? It's like when you have that connection with the students or with whatever you're doing, right? With the people that you're working with, makes it so much better. Yeah.
It is true. Yeah, some good kids out there.
Yeah. No, and it's true. I get what you guys are saying. I mean, for me, it was a little bit easier because obviously, like, I didn't have to go through the visa process thing. So for me, it
you're
was a little
already
bit easier.
European.
Yeah. Right. So for me, it was a little bit easier to get residency.
King of the castle. King of the castle.
um, but no, I get it. Like the whole thing of getting a job in Spain when you don't really speak the language. I mean, when I went in for the interview at the school, I was so worried because I was like, oh my God, like, yes, it's an international school, but
Pero.
who's going to interview me? Like, I literally moved like 2 months before that, and I was doing also like teaching people like here and there, teaching in person, still had some online classes from Poland, but I wasn't working full time. So when I started working, I was like, oh my God, but what did I do? Like, it was so scary. I mean,
Yeah.
Brandon, you probably remember my face all the time was just like, traumatized.
That's the face of every new teacher at our school.
I just remember
Doing a mini
claustro,
school.
and I was like, yeah, this is useless for me. I could last. Like, I remember tracking it. I was like, okay, when I started at the school, claustro is our teachers meeting, for those who don't know. And I would last about maybe 10 or 15 minutes following along, understanding, 70%
Then all of a sudden,
of what I was hearing, and then hit the wall. I hit that wall. I mean, mind you, this is the end of the day. So, I mean, I'm going to toot my own horn. I was doing pretty well at this point. I would hit a wall. And then beyond that point, it was like just making stupid faces at Paulina or Brandon, like, I don't know anything that's going on here. Save me. Like, on my phone, like on my computer, just like, yeah, whatever, blah, 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 anything but this.
Yeah.
and then they
But
call your
then,
name.
yeah,
It's like, Carson, what do you think about this student? And you're like, huh?
like, can you repeat the question,
Can
please?
you tell us more about Sports Day?
Sports day. Yeah, we're going to play sports. And then everybody like, yeah, that's good. I'll be like, Yeah, that is good, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a good
We're gonna play
idea.
sports. We're gonna do whatever you guys want to do. What do you guys think is good? Follow a question with a question? Like, come on, I got this shit.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, like, it was my first job, like a real job out of school. I mean, I worked in academies before, but it's you can't compare an academy to a private school, right?
No, yeah.
It's a completely different world. Um, and
And a
I was
private international school at that.
yeah, I was stressed. There were many days where I cried. But I mean, I'm not ashamed to admit that. Like it's scary on top of the fact that you're in a different country, different language, different like tradition. Like people have different little habits, to handle
Yeah.
situations. And it was all new.
Yeah.
And as much as I would like to say it gets easier, I don't know. I don't know if it did. I mean, there were days and days, as Brandon said, like there were some days that were really good, and there are other days where just you just wanted to, I don't know, like 5 shots of tequila, But here I am teaching English once again, but
Exactly.
this time for myself, right?
Made it. Made it through.
This time I think it was a necessary step. And
For me too, I believe.
who am I to say that I'm not gonna go back to teaching an academy as well, or to a private school, whatever, because we don't know. And I think that's sort of also the beauty of life, right? That we're sort of free to choose where we want to go to a certain extent, right? As
I
Carson
say to
said,
a large extent. I
yeah,
say largely. I mean, there are the limiting factors, of course, things beyond our control always, but we have a lot more control over it than I think we believe.
yeah.
Mm,
Like we can get up and switch what we want to do, like from one day to another. I'm like, okay, today I'm gonna start doing this type of course. I did my research. This is what I like. This is what I'm gonna start doing, right?
For sure.
And I think there's definitely beauty to that. Of course, Spain is not maybe ideal country for work. It's very difficult with the job market, as you guys said. But
It'd be tough.
but
It'd be
we're
tough.
not just limited to Spain, right? We have to
Right.
also think about it. Like, yes, our lives are here, but who's to
Hmm.
say that we can go abroad for a year and
Yeah.
work somewhere? I see many of my friends do that. Like they move from Spain to, I don't know, Switzerland, work in Switzerland for 2 to 3 years, and they come back to Spain.
Buy a bunker. Back.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. That's the beauty of it all is the more you get to know yourself, how you work, your strengths, your weaknesses, you can hone that focus. And as you get older, of course, you get more mature, you have better work ethic. You can change. You can change careers. You can change your mindset. You can change your country, change your location. You can maybe even if you're in a fortunate enough situation, convince your partner to go with you on that adventure.
Yeah.
But we have that. We have so many things, so many options, I should say. Most people, of course, some people are not in such fortunate situations such as us. But if you have no major disabilities, physical, psychological, mental, cognitive, whatever, if you're willing to work hard and you're willing to get better as a human and take care of yourself and do what most importantly, do the work, there's so much you could do. And there's so much you can do to chase your passions and to figure out what that is and experiment and just try things and just move across the world and just go for it and say, hey,
exactly.
I don't know where I'm going to land, but I'm going to land somewhere. I'm going to figure out what it means to be happy and successful. And I'm going to surround myself with people who support that and who help me in whatever way I need them to be there for me.
Can't be afraid of change.
Yeah, for sure. So,
So
any final words for today about job? I do have final words. That's not final words. I forgot to mention another job that I had, and it's a really good one.
Go for
And
it.
I don't know if I told you guys about this.
OnlyFans?
Not yet.
We're
Hold
not
on.
there yet. No,
No, you're not on there yet.
I actually worked in a taxi call center. Have you ever?
Taxi call center.
Yeah.
Where
Yes,
was that?
it was in Poland, and it was the best job ever.
Why?
You guys would be surprised, but it was so good. You literally would just sit there, answer phone calls, like you would have your headset and whatever, and you would just send a taxi. Of course, there were problems, sometimes, but it was just so fun. It was like also very funny because you would get people on like Saturday night trying to
Taxi.
in the morning. telling you they need a taxi in I don't know where, and you're like, but what street are you on? I don't know. I'm next to this tree. I'm like, what tree? You know, there's this
Good
house.
description.
There's this wooden house here, and there is a tree, and there is a fence. I'm like, is there anything around you? Can you walk to the nearest block? There is a supermarket here. Gray, can you tell me the name of?
What's the name of it?
So you get those people, you know, and it's like it would be funny because at the same time, it's like, you know, they're having a great time and they're making jokes in the background, they're giggling, and you know, it puts you in a good mood. But there also be like dramatic people. We had a lady that jumped out of a taxi. Yeah.
She didn't,
So there was this woman that jumped out of a taxi
she didn't
because
want to
the
pay.
driver.
It's like they want to pay. It was that expensive?
No, it's not that she didn't want to pay. The driver that went there apparently had a stroke before. Like I'm talking about like months or a few years ago, but that left his like side, like half of his face a little bit like droopy or something. And he had his speech a little bit slurred as well. But he was still like capable of driving. It's not like, you know, he passed all the exam or whatever, he was still capable of driving. And she called and she was like, I think your driver is drunk. And we're like, no, ma'am, like that's not the case. And she's like, I want a normal driver. Mind you, the driver is right in front of her. Like
Exactly.
It's a little late for that.
she's like, I want a normal driver. And I'm like, he is a normal driver? And she's like, he looks drunk. I'm like, man, this man had a stroke before. Like, he's fine. He shouldn't be driving a car. And I'm like, lady, like, he'll get you to your destination just fine. And she started, like, apparently they were at a red light. The driver later called us, and she was pulling the car, like, to open the door.
The handle, yeah.
Yeah, the handle. And she actually, like, got out because I don't know, like, how she did it, whatever. And she actually got out of the car and like stumbled onto the freaking road. I'm like, this lady, like, so we had stories like that as well. But overall, we got paid pretty well. The boss was really like, he was a nice person. We had also lots of breaks in between, like, because I mean there were so many of us, and we take, you know, coffee breaks every now and then, or cigarette breaks, whatever. So no, like, and we would work technically 8-hour shifts, but then the weekends, I think we would have to work one weekend or 2 weekends during the month, and then the other 2 weekends were off. And if you worked X amount of hours, I don't remember what it was, but you had to work a certain amount of hours throughout the month. If you would pull double shifts, then that means you would have like other days off. So every month I would have at least a week and a half off, including the week, and then to add on the weekends.
Not
So
bad.
Nice.
it's pretty
Perks.
nice. It's a pretty sweet job. If I could, I would go back to
Sweet.
that job.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if they still have those jobs, like a call center, like a taxi call center. This was in 2018.
Well, yeah, you got to call somebody. Somebody's got to answer. It's not a taxi driver. They're
Yeah.
just like getting sent orders.
wherever.
They don't think they're talking. So yeah, I guess it still exists.
I think here now in Murcia they do it by like WhatsApp. Like you send a message or number, say, "Hey, I'm here." Then they're like, just someone contacts you, say, "All right, yeah, driver will be there in like 5 minutes." Or
Anyway, that's my last anecdote of the jobs that we worked and the
Hmm.
jobs that we liked and hated.
Sounds fun.
You have any last words? Any of you?
I was a bouncer. That was kind of crazy. Didn't talk about that yet. Yeah, fake IDs. We took them, which I felt a little bad about. But yeah, it's kind of funny too, seeing you cry about it. How much you pay for that one? Not enough.
try
Kicking people
again.
out, you know, like, Carson, this guy's got to go. And the good thing is like, it's a simple order. It's like, I don't have to ask questions. I don't have to reason with anybody. Just go in and say, hey, it's time to go. And if they don't want to go, then you just physically
Pick them
take
up.
them outside.
You help them out. This way, please.
I will walk you outside then. You know, I've given you the option. Also, if it's not with me, I could go get the police officer or the other bouncer who's a former Marine. What would you prefer? But it was pretty low key. It was like mostly college kids on the weekends. You know, they would try to stay long, later than close, I guess. I don't even remember really. I think it was like 2:30, 2:45, be the last call. And like, everybody would just stand there and not finish their drinks. And it's like, okay. And then the bell would ring. It'd be time to leave. And then, okay, at that point, I am dumping out your drink and you are going to just get somewhat embarrassed before you have to walk your ass out of the place. And I mean, it was an interesting job because for obvious reasons, you just see some freaking idiots. Like you just have to deny some people. They'd be so drunk. It's like, I don't want to deal with you in 10 minutes. So why would I let you in? Yeah, it wasn't stressful. There were stressful moments, but overall it wasn't stressful. People see you and I'm a pretty big guy, so most people don't want to mess with me. They don't want to start anything. And most people just go to bars to have fun and they're not trying to start shit. So it wasn't
The scary clown.
a scary clown. I'll just step on you with my size 48. And I don't think ego aside, it wasn't even, it was more just not that kind of bar. First of all, there was no angst associated with that bar. Like the crowd was not very unruly, although there were somebody tried to fight me once, or he wanted me to put my hands up. And of course I didn't put my hands on my hips, and he didn't like that. And then, so he's banned at this
That's what I was
point. He's
thinking.
banned. They put your hands on your hips, you big tough guy. I'm like, I don't know. Am I a big tough guy? Do you want me to be a big tough guy? Do you want me to physically throw you over the wall? Because I would, but I would go to jail because there's a cop here. And then so he was banned for a minute. And at some point, being the nice guy that I am, I let him in because sob story. He was going through a hard time. And I think he was on steroids or something. This guy, I let him in. I was like, if you so much as look at me the wrong way, it's over, man. And you'll never come back in. And he was a good little boy. But that's about as exciting as it got. Yeah, just, typical things. I mean, I got my free meal on the start of the shift, had a drink or two after the shift, late nights, got home at after 4 most of the time. But, the crew was awesome. I'm still lifelong friends with some of the people there. You know who you are. Shout out to you real ones, thinking about you. And it was fun. I would say it was a fun job. I had a little too much fun one day, but that's not a conversation right now. So. But yeah, real good people. That was not for podcasts. Got to maintain a little bit of mystery here.
And dignity.
A little bit of dignity, yeah.
Just a little bit.
What little is left. What little is left. That's all I got to say about that. Brandon, what do you got? You got a fun one?
No, all my jobs are teaching.
Except for that time you chased that guy who stole the Jordans.
Definitely not. Definitely not of that. I don't know. No, I don't have any crazy stories or anything. It's nothing too exciting. Like I said, especially since I've been in Spain, it's just basically all teaching except for the 4 months at the logistics company and working at the private university also for a few months, but not too much. Oh, okay, well, the private university. So the private university is obviously Catholic. I'm not Catholic, but no, it doesn't matter. If you're at the university, you have to go to you have to go to mass and everything, all the different celebrations, everything that they do.
Helena's like, ah!
See, Paulina walks in and all of a sudden just ashes. Like, ooh, what happened?
This is why they help you bag your groceries. It's the same thing.
But I don't know.
Just say it.
Yeah, so we had to do all the different events, everything. We had to go, no choice. The entire university was shut down, and everyone would go to the church for mass. And I guess it was Ash Wednesday, and so everyone had to go up and they put the ash on your head or whatever. And so of course me, I was like, all right, well yeah, we got to do it, so whatever. So I'm going down.
Ash me up, I don't give up, mother.
so I'm getting ashed up, and I guess they were recording. They were filming the news or whatever. And so later that day, one of our friends calls Nordia. She's like, I just saw Brandon on TV that Ash Wednesday. It's he's not Catholic, is he? And of course Nordia's like, no, but I mean it's part of the job.
For 5 minutes.
Just gotta do what you gotta do.
Gotta get ashed up.
Gotta get ashed up when the Pope calls.
Okay, you're setting me up for a good joke pretty soon. You just keep going. Get ashed up by the Pope. I think we're going to leave it there.
Sign off.
Thank you for listening.
Well, does anybody have any other?
That's it.
I think the Pope and the ash, that's...
In the ash? Right in the ash? Is that what you said? He poked you right in the ash?
In the ash.
My God.
I definitely did not say that.
Right.
Okay. So I think that's it for today, everybody. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. You know where to find us. We're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on YouTube, we're everywhere. We're like the wind. So we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, everybody.
Ash out. Yeah.
If I had known you were going to only talk about manga, I would not have come today.
Exactly.
There you go.
What conditional is that, motherfucker?
But you guys
Conditional
wanna know,
this,
like,
bitch.
when I actually
Alright.
realized that, I realized
done.
that when